Hey everyone, welcome back to DIY Beauty on Purpose. My name is Leonette and I'm so glad that you are here with me today. Today I have for you 8 thrift store flips that are absolutely beautiful and I know you're going to love them. Let's get started. For this DIY, I am going to take this lantern that I thrifted for $4.99. Guys, I was so thrilled. It's actually a really good size. I removed the faux candle because it was not working. It was rusted. I even placed new batteries, just not working. I also removed the glass from all 3 panels. I just don't like having glass in my home for my decor, and this is really true glass, so I just removed them. I gave everything a good scrub, and then I spray painted it with Rust-Oleum flat white paint. A couple of coats is all that it needed. I just wanted to make sure that it was fully covered, but also not perfect because I did want it to have a little bit of a distress. It was dry. I then took it inside and now I'm going to just add a little bit of a rusted look to it. I'm going to add Antiquing Wax by Waverly. I'm just going to start adding it on the edges, anywhere where metal and metal meet, where it just makes it look like it's just rusted. Was done rusting it, I basically just added several sunflowers that I got at the Dollar General just to add a little bit more of a spring tone to it. And guys, this lantern turned out absolutely beautiful. Take this box and I'm going to remove the little flamingo that's in the front. Not that I don't like it, it's just not quite my style. I'm going to sand it down just a little bit and then I'm going to give everything 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and then in the front only the middle little plank is going to be white and then the other 2 are going to be blue using Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the coastal blue. I'm just going to detail the little edges and making sure that it just looks nicely finished, as well as in between the planks. Now going to make a little flower arrangement. These are just some leaves and flowers from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to place them together and join them using jute twine and hot glue it to the front to cover up a little bit of that excess glue that was kept on the box. Guys, so once I hot glue it here, guys, we'll be done with this one. And what a beautiful transformation this box took. Wow, I love it with these towels right in it. I'm going to take this little tin vase here. I thought it was super cute. It had so much character, but it was really looking old. So let's give it a new look. I'm going to use, once again, Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. And for this first coat, guys, we are truly just painting it, just getting it on there. There's no technique. It's basically making sure that all of the brown is painted white. Second coat, I decided to give it more of a, instead of brushing the the paint. I just want to dab the paint. This is going to give it a very textured, old looking, almost like this paint has been on this vase for many, many years, and it's just crackled and it's just very textured, and that's exactly what I was looking for right there. I just love how instead of brushing it on, if you dab it on, it gives you this look. And we're going to do it again here in a little bit on another DIY. We are going to distress this vase because boy does it have texture, and anything that has texture, it just, to me, if you distress it, you allow those textures to pop. So I'm going to focus just on the texture and the edges. So I started with the bottom base, and I'm just going to wet distress it. So I basically wet a rag, and I am just going to keep rubbing it until the paint starts to come off. But you have to be careful. You want to make sure you stop at the right time. So just give enough pressure if you're going to do this. Give enough pressure so that paint removes. Once you start seeing remove, kind of lightening it, because otherwise you can possibly take too much. No big deal. You can always paint it again. But who wants to do that, right? So I did the edges, the base, and I'm also going to do the front and the back because, once again, that beautiful texture is stunning. And once we are finished with this, we're done. I'm going to add some blue florals that I got recently at the Dollar Tree. Look how stunning this vase is. It's probably one of my favorites from today. I absolutely love it. DIY, I am going to take this vase that I very recently got at the thrift store. It was $10. Now, let me tell you, I do not spend $10 on anything at the thrift store except for a couple of things. This one and another vase that I recently got. But that's because this vase, it is insanely heavy duty. It is heavy. It is authentic. It has texture. It is just stunning. So it is a bit too grungy for me, like that yellowish beige color. So I am going to dry brush it, the whole thing. Now you're going to see that I'm going to keep dry brushing and dry brushing and dry brushing. Now I'm going to speed it up just a little bit for you, but I'm actually want you to see, because I know some of you have asked me in the past, you know, when you dry brush, do this or that. So I'm going to have you watch as much as possible the process. But all I'm doing is adding layer upon layer of dry brush. Now, because the darker areas of the vase is actually indented, the dry brush just kind of go over it, but it doesn't really cover it fully. And I'm only adding a very little amount of paint on the brush every time I dip it in the paint. So as you can see, I'm just adding layer upon layer. And basically when you are dry brushing, once you add one coat on one side, when you get to that side again, it's already dry. That's why it's called dry brushing. It's just hardly any paint and it dries pretty quickly. So I just wanted you to see that step by step and kind of like the process. Now it took me about 20 minutes, so I'm not gonna have you watch the whole 20 minutes, but I wanted you to watch enough. All right, friends, so here we are. I'm still working on the vase. I actually enjoy doing this kind of stuff where I can take my time and just kind of make it my own, use creativity, add paint where I need, that kind of thing. But I just really excited about how this is turning out. So let me see if I can get more lighting here. So you see, like, obviously you see a lot more of the white than the yellowish that it had, but you still see a lot of the dark, and you still see some of that yellowish pop through, which make it look very, very authentic and very antique. But I'm just loving the way this is turning out by just dry brushing, taking my time dry brushing, and I think it's turning out awesome. For this next DIY, I am going to use this piece of paneling that came off of an old, I believe it was like an old dresser. It was something because it has that curve on the bottom, and that's exactly how it was. but to be honest with you, I don't remember where it came from. All I know is that I kept it and it's in pretty good shape. I'm going to use the remaining little mixture of the sea spray and the paint just to kind of use it and not waste it. And then I'm going to give it one additional coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, just so it has enough coverage. But I'm not looking for perfection because once again, we are going to heavily distress it. Using my Cricut Maker 3 once again, I cut out the phrase Countryside Farm Market, and then it says fresh eggs, vegetables, and produce. This is going to be a larger kind of sign. Once I had all the stencils placed where I wanted them, I started stenciling using the charcoal tone Rust-Oleum chalk paint and my chalk paint brush, and I just stenciled away. Once again, I do want it to have a little bit of a distressed look, so I did not look for perfection. Once I peeled off all the stencil, this was actually one of the best stenciling jobs I've ever done. There was hardly any bleed through, which I was pleasantly surprised. And I think it turned out pretty cool. So I'm just going to weed off the excess little vinyls that are there. And then it's time to start distressing. Now I want this board to have heavy distress. I started doing it with my block sander. It was taking forever. So I went on to my palm sander and that did the trick. I am going to heavily distress all the edges and then lightly distress all the words. To add additional character, I am going to start to dab some of that same Waverly Antiquing wax with a chippy brush. I'm going to do that all around the edge. It's just going to look like it's been around, weathering out in the elements, and it's just going to look old. And I really like the look that it has. So I'm just going to do that all around the edges, and then I'm going to dab it just a little bit with a dry towel just to remove any excess antiquing wax. And then I'm going to also very lightly sand it again just to make it look as natural as possible. This is a pretty large sign, but it's also very thin, so I couldn't just screw in sawtooth hooks. So I had this wire one thing, little hanging thingy that came off of another one. It was kind of long, but I knotted it and then I cut the excess, and then I screwed in with a small screw, and I added some of that popsicle sticks just to add a little bit of thickness to the board, and it actually worked out really well. Look how stunning this looks. Beautiful cutting board. Literally, it was like this. I saw it from far and I rushed to it to grab it. It is beautiful, sturdy, solid wood, and all it needed was just a nice little scrub. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I'm making sure that it's very, very dry. Although you see in the end it wasn't that dry, but it worked out. So just again gave it a scrub, dried very well, and then using my Cricut I designed a decal that says fresh honey and some other little details. So I'm just going to apply it right to the center of this cutting board. And you're going to see here what I'm talking about. Apparently the board was not fully dry because this decal was not sticking. And I've used this decal a lot, or this vinyl, and it was just not sticking. But once it was there, it kind of, stuck. But it just gave me the hardest time. So I'm going to speed it up here for you because I'm sure you don't want to see me struggle with that. But just to let you know, things like this happen. You just have to take it very slowly, one part at a time, and it'll work out. But that's about it for this one. Because it was already so beautiful and in that beautiful black tone, I did not want to mess with it anymore. I just wanted to add something really cute, and I think it turned out super adorable. bunny is made out of wood, and you can tell it was handmade, but it has seen better days. So I'm just going to remove the arms, the bow that it has on there, and anything that's on top of it, and we're going to give it a fresh look. After everything was removed, I am now sanding it very lightly with a 220 grit sandpaper just to smooth things out and give it a fresh, kind of softer feel, and then give it one heavy coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. And again, I'm not looking for perfection. I wanted to have a little bit of bare areas just to kind of give it that distressed farmhouse look. The little flower pot that was actually in front of the bunny, I removed it, and I'm just clipping off here the nails that were just still on it. And then I'm going to give it another quick sand and a 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum milk paint, not the chalk paint, in the Highland blue, which is absolutely stunning, guys. If you do not, I love Rust-Oleum. This is not a sponsor video, but truly it is such a good quality paint. They have chalk paint, of course, you know about their spray paint. They also have milk paint, and it's just beautiful colors, so check them out. So once that was dry, I am now going to attach it to the right side of the bunny towards the bottom, almost like the flower pot is laying on the floor, or not laying, but you know, on the floor next to the bunny. And I'm going to secure it with wood glue. Now moving on to the tail. So before, originally, the bunny was facing forward, but this bunny, I want him to be facing backwards. 2 reasons. One, I think they just look adorable with their little bunny tails in the front. And also, I'm not a good like face drawer, so I wanted to avoid drawing a face, eyes, and nose. So we're just gonna go with the back side here. So I'm just gonna take a piece of towel from the Dollar Tree and some pillow stuffing from Walmart, and I'm just going to start hot gluing it, just trying to shape it as a ball, and then attach the ball onto the back side. I am now going to take some of these colorful florals from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start stapling branch by branch onto the flower pot, just on the top side where the going to take this Dollar Tree scarf and wrap it around the neck of the bunny. Originally, I did the bow towards the right side, which is right above the flowers, but later on I did change it to the left because I just thought that right side was a little bit too heavy with the flower arrangement there. And then I'm just going to hot glue some Spanish moss right onto the bottom of the flowers. That way you don't see the staples, and it'll just look a lot more nicer. And that's it, guys. This one turned out so adorable. We are going to take this picture frame I thrifted very recently for $1.99. Great deal, great quality, love it. I'm also going to take this 2x2 I already had on hand in my garage, and I'm going to cut 4 pieces to fit behind the box. So I believe not behind the box, behind the picture frame. The picture frame was 14 by 12, and then the pieces of wood I cut were 9 by 12, I believe. Yes. That way it fits behind it. You're not going to see it through the opening, but it's also going to be hidden behind the actual frame. I'm going to secure it in place using brad nails. Once it was nicely secure, we are going to paint the inside first. I'm going to give it 3 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. These Fairlights, I get a box of 12 on Amazon. I do have them down in my Amazon store. So if you want to check out some of my favorite Amazon supplies and tools, I do have the link down in the description box. So here we go. I'm going to screw in several screws in each corner. So basically one in each corner, or two in each corner, one on each side. If that, you see what I'm talking about. And that way, instead of stapling it, I can just kind of wrap it around each screw. It took 10 of these painter sticks and I removed about a 1/2 inch of the one side. I'm also going to make sure that when I'm putting them on, that they're going to alternate, like the little circle wavy area is going to alternate one up and one down. That way they can all be evenly spread out. I did give them 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white and let it fully dry. So now it's time to start closing the back of the box. And I am going to use my stapler, and I am going to just staple it just once on each stick. Now had the box nicely put together, it's time to paint the front. I'm going to give it again 3 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and we'll be done, guys. I added some blue flowers that I had from the Dollar Tree. Look how cute this box is. And this is it for today. You're gonna have to let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, which one was the biggest transformation that you think. And I just can't pick. I can't pick a favorite, but let me know what you think. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you consider joining our YouTube family. And as always, if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I'm going to have a playlist here with tons more of thrift store flips for you. If you want to be inspired, get more inspiration, check it out. And I'm also going to have a video for you to watch. Click on one of these 2 links. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.